Yesterday, what we have seen was that we will continue with the yesterday's topic, that is design of common emitter voltage amplifier for small signal. So this was the circuit diagram of the common emitter voltage amplifier. We have already seen how to calculate the various components like RC. We have seen how to compute RE with the example. Okay. Now other things which are left are basically the biasing resistors now. So the next step number 6, will be calculate the biasing resistors. Since stability factor is not given, what we will do is we will use the first method. All right. So select I2 as IC by 10. Okay. So what was your IC? The collector current which we have started our design with?
1 milliampere.
It was 1 milliampere. So divide that by 10 to get 0.1 milliampere. All right. So R2 can be found out now as VB divided by I2. And this VB is nothing but VBE plus VE divided by I2. We have already calculated VB. We know already VE. We have already fixed the value of VE. So what are the values? VBE is 0.7 volts plus, what is VE?
3.96 volt.
3.96 volts divided by 0.1 milliampere. Calculate this. Come on.
46.6 kilo ohms.
Yes, it turns out to be 46.64 kilo ohms. This is the value of R2. Now, 7th step is to find out compute R1. How do you get R1? R1 is VCC minus VB divided by, yes?
I2 plus IB.
We will ignore IB.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or let us say, okay, let us not ignore IB. So let us be accurate at this point of time. Let us not be approximate. So this turns out to be what? 12 volts minus VB was 0.7 volts plus 3.96 volts divided by I2 is 0.1 milliampere plus 1 milliampere by 100. So how am I calculating IB? IC by beta. What is the value that you get here? Yes? Come on.
Sir, it's 66.72 kilo ohm.
66.69 is what I am getting.
Yes, sir.
Very close.
66.7.
All right. So next step, we have already calculated R1 now. So what was the value for, what was the equation for C2? It was 1 plus HAP divided by, yes, 2 pi F1
F1
HIE.
HIE.
So this is 1 plus 100 divided by 2 pi. What is F1? Desired lower cutoff frequency is what?
50 hertz.
50 hertz. HIE is what you have already calculated. What was that? 2.6.
2.6 kilo ohms.
So compute this. Yes, what do you get? So make it a practice to show the values or convert the values in terms of, for resistor I have told you convert it into kilo ohms, mega ohms, whatever it is. For capacitors it will be either millifarads, microfarads, nanofarads and picofarads. So what do you get? Mostly this capacitor will be an electrolytic capacitor. So many tens of microfarads. What is the value that you are getting?
Sir, 0.123 microfarad.
No. Is it microfarad really?
No,
Sir, 123
No, sir.
microfarad.
120
Yes, 123. Sorry, 124.
Yes, sir.
124.3 microfarad is what I am getting. Is this okay with all of you? Yes?
Yes.
All of you are getting the same value?
Yes, sir.
Approx.
You have to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have to go for, let us say, compute RB. What is the RB? RB is R1 parallel R2. So that is what? What was the value of R1? 66.69 kilo ohms parallel with 46.64 kilo ohms. Find out this combination. Remember, both are in kilo ohms, so your result will also be in kilo ohms. Both are nearly same. So whenever resistors are same, the effective value in parallel is half of that of that particular resistor. So nearly half of this you should get. These are the rough checks whether your calculation is in the right direction or not.
Sir, it's 27.55 kilo ohm.
27.5 kilo.
So I'm getting 27.45 kilo.
Kilo ohms.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So now we have to find out Zi. What is Zi in case of common emitter amplifier with bypass RE? I suggest you make a table and put all the values over there. Should be there as your ready reckoner. Instead of flipping through the pages and going back to your notes. So what is Zi? It is RB parallel with HIE. So now you have to compute this 27.45 kilo ohms in parallel with 2.6 kilo ohms. Again, as a rough check, the effective value of resistor in parallel will be closer to the one which is smaller.
So 2.37 kilo ohm.
Yes, I'm getting
37.
2.363 kilo ohms. Okay. Now you can compute C1. What was the formula for C1? Yes, remember XC1 should be ZI
by
plus RS, since RS is given here, by
yes,
10
sir, plus R by 10.
at the lower cutoff frequency F1. Don't forget that. So I'll write down the formula directly. 2 pi F1 into ZI plus RS, this entire thing by 10. Alright? Compute this. So this will be 1 divided by 2 pi into 50 hertz into ZI is 2.363 kilo ohms. RS is 50 ohms. Divide by 10. Yes. Do this. Come on. Now it is a surprising thing to see that the number of attendees is very less, 63 only.
Sir, it's 607 microfarad.
No. Check it properly. Now if you are missing out these things, I don't know how you are going to design circuits in the future. Some students are joining very late, they are leaving, again joining, they are remaining silent. This is not how it works.
13.19 microfarad.
Yeah, somebody is getting a correct value of 13.18. I am getting microfarad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is where you lose most of the marks. You see, calculations, simple calculations. Next step is to compute output impedance. In case of common emitter amplifier with bypassed RE, you have output impedance simply as the collector resistor value, which is equal to 4.072 kilo ohms. So now you can compute C3. So what is the equation for C3? We must have the condition XC3 is equal to what? ZO plus RL
O plus RL by 10
by 10 at, don't forget,
at
at
F1.
F1 only. So repeat the calculations here. 2
हाँ आलू आलू ना है ना आप
2 pi into 50 hertz into what is ZO? 4.072 kilo ohms plus what is RL? 82 kilo ohms. This entire thing divided by 10. Yes. What do you get? Come on.
No.
0.37 microfarad.
Yeah, what I am getting is exactly the same, nearly the same. Let's say
इधर निचवा छाट के बड़ी बड़ी रखी है यार
269
नीचे करिए बड़ी बड़ी रखी है छाट के
Somebody is
ठस कर दिया
comparing.
Yes, sir. 3.3.
Yes. Are all of you getting this value of C3?
Yes.
Sir.
Sir.
All right. Very good. The last step is compute C4. And what did I say about C4? What was the condition for C4? XC4 is equal to, yes,
RC parallel to RL at F2.
at F2. Yeah, this is where it is different. So what I get is 1 upon twice pi F2 into RC parallel RL. That gives me 1 upon 2 pi into, what was F2? 20 kilohertz into what is RC? RC is 4.072 kilo ohms parallel with 82 kilo ohms. Yes, work this out. Come on, be fast. Yes.
So 2.05
What?
microfarad.
No. 2.05 is all right, but I think you are messing up with the kilo ohms part in the denominator. Turns out to be 2.05 nanofarad. Check this out.
Yes, sir. 10 to the power.
So 2.05 should be something like 2.05 into 10 to the power minus 9
9.
farads. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
So this completes the design of the common emitter voltage amplifier. Quickly let us list down the various values: RC, RE, R1, R2, C1, C2, C3 and C4. So what is the value of RC? 4.072 kilo ohm.
72 kilo ohms.
What is the value of Re?
3.92 kilo ohms.
3.924 kilo ohms. Let me just shift this a little bit. RC is 4.072 kilo ohm. RE is 3.924 kilo ohm. R1 is what?
66.69 kilo ohms.
9 kilo ohms. R2 is
6.64 kilo
40.64 kilo ohms. C1 is 13.18 microfarad. C2 is 124.3 microfarad.
microfarad.
C3 is 0.369
microfarad.
microfarad. C4 is 2.05
0.05 nanofarad.
Now, this is component list. This is called as the component list. Of course, these are only the passive components. The other components will be the transistor. So our transistor, which is supposed to have the beta as 100, and it is going to be a silicon transistor. Now let us verify this with, first of all, with my software for design, and then let us verify the same thing with Multisim. Agreed? Let us see whether our calculations are correct or wrong. In practice, whether really it happens to give us the same desired results. So just wait for a moment. So are you able to see this now? Single stage common emitter amplifier design.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just check whether all your specifications are as per our example. AV 150 BS. This is in peak to peak. So it was peak earlier. Now this is peak to peak. So double. All right. The source resistance is 50 ohms. Lower cutoff frequency is 50 hertz. VCC is 12. Load resistor that is given is 82 kilo ohms. HFE for Q1 is 100. And the upper cutoff frequency is 20 kilohertz. Okay. So we start with selection of IC as 1 milliampere, and this is what we get. Check out the values. Are all the values same? Yes.
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 Obviously, they are going to be same because the software is designed by me. So they have to be same. Look at the frequency response. Look at the frequency response. So what is the actual bandwidth that we get is nearly 20 kilohertz. That is as expected. The lower cutoff frequency we are getting is 48 hertz, and the upper cutoff frequency is exactly 20 kilohertz. ठीक है ना?
So the C4, you knew that it would come in nanofarads.
What thing?
So the C4.
Yeah, it is in nanofarad. See?
It is written.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is in nanofarads, but you knew it from before only. That it will come in nanofarads. Hello.
Yeah. Look at this
Sir, you're
C4.
not audible.
It is in nanofarads only.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. In this diagram, C4 is missing. That I'll correct. But C4 we have calculated here like this. Do you want me to share this software with you also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you started using the earlier software
Yes, sir.
for the bias arrangements
sir.
of the bias circuits? Did you successfully install the software? Nobody cares about it, right? I've given this software.
नहीं हुआ था सर
हाँ तो फिर बोलो
सॉफ्टवेयर
ना
इंस्टॉल
नहीं
नहीं हो
हुआ
पाया
करके क्यों नहीं
इंस्टॉल
हुआ
नहीं हो पाया
we'll find out why it is not happening. First of all, you should have a 64-bit machine. Second, you should download all the instructions are given over there. This is based on Java, so you have to download the JDK 1.8. Okay, 1.8 rather 8 basically. Java JDK 8 that
ओके
requires registration, which is free, which can be easily done. लेकिन करता कौन है? अरे ये डेमो सॉफ्टवेयर है, ये कहीं पर भी नहीं मिलेगा. This is unique to our department, our college itself, because this is designed by me, and still students are not able to make use of such things. Won't it be helpful for?
लैपटॉप के अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी उस वजह से
Won't it be helpful to visualize your concept of how the cue point is placed and all those things? So what is the point in me giving you the software like this? बाहर जाके YouTube पे या फिर अदर एनिमेशंस आप देख लेते हो, वो बहुत इंटरेस्ट लेके देखते हो, और ये जो फ्री में मिल रहा है यहाँ पे देखते भी नहीं. That is, this is so irritating. Why am I going to the trouble of creating all this? I can make such software and sell it out. I'm not doing that. I'm exclusively keeping that for you. The students are not making use of it. What is the point? Lot of man hours go into development of this software, and this is the different thing that we have, isn't it? I don't know what is the attitude of the students nowadays, that they don't really understand the importance, neither they appreciate. Anyways, so this is, please note down these values. The bandwidth, the gain at this place, the gain, the mid frequency gain 43.5 dB, and this. So this is the analysis part, which is supposed to be done by you also. Once you design the circuit, you have to go for AC analysis as well. We already have the equations with us. Many of the things that we have already calculated, like ZI, we have already calculated as through 2.36 kilo ohms. Output impedance is same as that of the RC, which is 4.07 kilo ohms. Okay, actual gain can be found out very easily like that, putting it in the equation and finding it out. F1, F2, all these things we already have. Okay, so if you have noted down all these values, these important values, let us go and see whether our circuit gives us the correct results in simulation. ये तो ठीक है, these are the steps which have been formulated by me. Software has been designed by me, so they had to agree. But does a third-party software like Multisim agree with this for performance of the circuit in the desired way? That is what we will see. So just let me switch to Multisim. So are you able to see the multi-sim screen?
Yes,
sir.
So you can check the values. Okay, let us make it exactly those same values. Are the values same? दिखाई दे रहा है ना ये?
Yes, sir. दिखाई दे रहा है.
हाँ, तो check out all the values. R1, R2 here, C1, C2, C3, C4. Transistor which I am selecting is a virtual transistor. You can see here the beta is 100. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let us see the frequency response. So going into the interactive mode, to go for AC sweep, start frequency 10 Hertz, stop frequency 100 kilohertz, number of points per decade I will increase to 1000. Okay, output is VPR1. What is VPR1? This is the probe that we have, voltage probe that we have connected over here at the output. And let us now run this. Are you able to see the frequency response?
Yes,
By
sir.
AC.
This one. We are not interested at this point in the phase response, only the frequency, magnitude frequency response, not the phase magnitude, phase frequency response. So is this visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it looks very similar to our calculated frequency response. One thing that has to be done always to verify, go into the axis properties, y-axis, and of course you have to have that in decibels.
Decibels.
Okay. I don't like the black background, so you can just put on the grid over here. And let us find out the frequency response or the bandwidth from here. So to do that, please note that very carefully. I will select a cursor here and right click to Y max. That is the maximum or the mid frequency gain that I am getting. Okay, the mid frequency gain. Again, right click, add data label. So this is what I am getting at 1 kilohertz. 43.17 dB. All right.
Yes, sir.
Now let us find
Yes, sir.
out what happens at 3 dB down. So 43.17 minus 3 dB gives me 40 dB, right? 40.17.
Yes,
So
Yes, sir.
I will take this to 40.17. So here I am getting the cursor, put the data label there. So what is the lower cutoff frequency that I am getting is 53 Hertz. All right.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I can set the value for the upper cutoff frequency. Again, 3 dB down, so 43.17. Somewhere here. 40.17. So I'll just manually do it. Nearly there. Okay. So what is the band? What is the upper cutoff frequency I am getting? You able to see the screen, no?
20.04.
Yes. So our bandwidth is as per expectation. There is a slight problem here. It is slightly higher than 50 Hertz, which shouldn't have been there. It should have been a slightly less than 50 Hertz. So maybe I'll tell you what we can do about it. but it is very, very close. Again, look at the gains. This is 40 dB, this is 40, this is 43. And earlier in the design software, we had similar kinds of values if you have noted them down.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? I think it was 43.5. Here it
Yes,
was
sir,
40.5, and here also it was 40.5. ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
So our circuit is working as expected, at least from the frequency domain point of view. You're getting this?
Yes, sir.
So what you have done today is you have created your own amplifier today. All right. Now let us see the transient response. Okay. So I'm supposed to have, this is the output which is connected to the one of the channels of the CRO. The input is connected to channel B. This is channel A. And now if I run this, adjust the time base. Of output voltage. Remember, I have color coded this. So red is the output, red trace is the output, green trace is the input. If I want to measure the peak to peak values, I'll just pull on a cursor here, go for the peak value, lower peak. So what is the peak to peak value that I'm getting? This one. It changes, so be careful about that while measuring it. The trace shifts. Okay. So you can see it is 2.8 volts peak to peak that I'm getting. What is the input? Look at this scale. So how to find out? The peak to peak values, the vertical scales are 2.8 into scale, that is 1, giving me peak to peak value of output voltage as 2.8 volts. Okay? Now if I shift, if I want to measure, I don't need to measure, but if I want to measure the input as well, what I will do? I will again measure the peak to peak values of the input. Obviously they have to be about 20 millivolts. So what is the voltage gain? What is the voltage gain? Output is peak to peak 0.8 volts. Input is peak to peak 20 volts, let us say 19.45 if you want to be more accurate. So what is the value that you get? So 2.828 divided by 19.45 millivolts. Calculate that first. This is the actual gain that we get. Remember, this is millivolts. The scale here is millivolts. So 2 divisions correspond to 20 millivolts. Let us take 20 millivolts, doesn't matter, that simplifies the matter. So 2.82 divided by 20, how much is the gain? Yes?
So 145.
141.
Yeah, round about 140, let us say 141, 142, okay? And what was our expected gain? We started off with...
It was 149.62.
149.
It was 150.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? We wanted a gain of 150. So we are very close to the actual, to the desired values. And so this says that we have succeeded in designing the single stage voltage amplifier. Is it clear to all of you?
2.828 and 19.8, then we are getting it as 143. So, sir,
Whatever.
close.
Yeah, that's all right. So that's about nearly about 141, 142. and the expected gain was 150. So we have achieved a gain very close to the desired value. Okay, so this says that our design is correct. Okay, this proves that our design is correct. Of course, you have to, again, why there is a phase shift of 180 degrees between input and output? Did you notice that?
Yes, sir.
Why is that? Because it is a common emitter
Common emitter.
configuration.
Yes, sir.
So you get 180 degrees phase shift between the input and the output values. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you design a simple single stage voltage amplifier. Since the process is mechanical, I was able to write code for that and get it done. Okay, this is not the end of it, by the way. So we have to verify what happens at 50 hertz and what happens at 20 kilohertz. So let us try to do that. So here I will change the parameter, frequency parameter to 50 hertz first. Okay. Run the interactive simulation once again. Change the time base like this. Now you will see that the phase shift is slightly different, because at mid frequency it is going to be exactly 180 degrees, but on the lower side it is going to be a little different. Similar is the case on the upper side also, and that actually brings us to the phase response also. But anyways, before proceeding for that, let us find out what is the actual output. So the actual output is what? Let us select the output. So this is already selected. Now what is the output? Peak to peak. You can see here it is nearly 2 volts.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just you have to verify that you are getting how much at F1 lower cutoff frequency. If I measure in terms of voltages only, so the voltage output at cutoff frequency, any of the cutoff frequencies will be mid frequency voltage gain divided by square root of 2.
Square root of 2.
Remember that?
Yes, sir.
So what was the output voltage there in case of mid frequency gain? What was the output? It was 2.8 something, no, volts?
2.28. Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2.8 volts, the gain basically, if you are interested in the gain. So output voltage, how much does it get reduced to? It gets reduced to how much? 1.48. No, not 48. These are shifted. So it has to be 2 volts. See what is the ratio? .8 divided by 2. That is 1.4. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Which is equal to what? Okay, the other way around. Divide. Our gain was 140, right? 142. Divide that by square root of 2. Divide that by square root of 2. What do you get?
Sir, 100.419.
Dividing by square root of 2. Do it.
Sir, 100.40.
100. So 100 is should be the gain. So are you getting the gain as 100?
Yes, sir.
Yes, F1. This is one. This is nearly 2 volts, and your input was peak to peak 20 millivolts. So the gain is exactly 100. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us find out whether the same thing happens at the upper cutoff frequency. 20 kilohertz. I have to change the time base. Yes, is it the same thing? Let us find out. So nearly 2. Peak to peak voltage is 2, input is 20 millivolts. So the gain is exactly 100.
100.
So this is the output of the amplifier at the upper cutoff frequency. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So don't be afraid of voltage amplifier and its design. It's very, very easy. Simple steps. Okay. Now if I want to convert this into a practical amplifier, I have to do some modifications. Of course, at this point of time, I won't be discussing those too much. But see, these R1 is a non-standard value, 4.07. R2 is a non-standard value. So all these values have to be converted into standard value formats. Okay. For example, here it will be about 3.9 kilo ohms. Here also 3.9 kilo ohms, which is a standard value. Probably here it is 47 kilo ohms, which is a standard value. Here you have 68 kilo ohms, which is a standard value. Okay. So that manipulation you have to do and see how the circuit is affected. We'll not go into that details. All right. Now, if I don't use C4, what is going to happen to the frequency response? See what is happening? What is happening to the frequency response? I'm not getting the cutoff at F2, which is desired. All right. Okay, let me just change this to decibels, so things will be easier for you to understand. So I'm not getting F2. Now, all the frequencies above F2 are also amplified by this amplifier, which we really don't need at this point of time. But how long will this continue? Okay, let us see. Increase the sweep up to, let us say, 1 or 10 megahertz. Maybe this won't be a problem because this is an ideal transistor. But if you select a practical transistor, we'll see another interesting thing that is happening. If I replace this with a practical transistor, a real transistor model of that, for example, this one. Okay, let the gain be like that only. Now look at what is going to happen. Yes. So what is happening? When I take the model of a real device, the output goes on decreasing later on, but at a larger value of it. At a higher frequency, this goes on decreasing. And the reason for that is your HFE of the transistor that also decreases with increase in frequency. This is what I want to bring out. So let me switch back to.
Sir, in ideal transistor, this does not happen.
Obviously, it is an ideal transistor, so HFE is going to be constant.
Constant, okay.
And F equal to infinity also. Getting it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for a real device, what happens is your HFE, if you plot the curve of HFE versus frequency or beta versus frequency, that is AC beta. This is the frequency. This value actually decreases like this. And the place where HFE becomes equal to 1 is called as the transition frequency of the transistor. So at transition frequency, at FT, the transistor does not remain a current amplifier also, this FT. So you have to be very careful while selecting the transistor also, that depending on your highest frequency of operation, you have to select FT to be 10 times more than Fmax. Select the transistor such that its FT is 10 times or even 100 times that of Fmax. All right. So this is called as the transition frequency, where the beta becomes equal to 1, and it's easiest to work as amplifier. Current amplification is 1. There is no amplification. So transistors are also affected by the frequency. High frequency behavior of the transistor you will learn in the fourth semester when you go for the subject called as AEC. Applied
So,
electronic circuits. Yes.
सर हमने बीटा इज इक्वल्स टू 100 के लिए सब किया है, एंड व्हाट विल हैपन इफ वी चेंज द बीटा?
Fantastic, very good question. The voltage gain is definitely going to change.
Yes, sir.
If beta changes, the HFE changes or beta AC changes, the gains are going to change. It will definitely affect the voltage gain, and that is why such amplifiers are not used at all like this. This amplifier is called as the open loop amplifier. Okay, this is the open loop configuration, and to stabilize the voltage gain against changes in the beta, again we require that brings us to very important concept of feedback amplifiers.
सर आपकी आवाज 2 मिनट के लिए अभी चली गई थी जब आपने बोला 100 के बाद, तो एक बार रिपीट कर दीजिए.
What happened?
सर
Okay, somebody asked me a question that if HFE changes, and that HFE is going to change with the transistor, okay,
Yes.
what will happen to the voltage gain? So the voltage gain also will go on changing. So if I am designing for a voltage gain of 150, maybe if I take another transistor from another, let us say the same series of transistor but a different unit, my gain will not be 150, it will be varying depending on the change in the HFE. Okay. And to avoid that, so that is the reason why I say that transistors, the amplifiers are not used in this configuration. This is called as the open loop configuration. There is no feedback. Output voltage is not fed back to the input, and that is the reason why it is called as an open loop amplifier, and open loop amplifiers are not used at all. So what we use are called as the negative feedback to stabilize the voltage gain, just like we stabilize the Q point by introducing a negative feedback from the emitter current. Remember that? In a similar way, we are going to have a negative feedback, and that brings us to the concept of feedback amplifiers, which again you will learn in the next semester. Okay, so please remember, in fact I started this lecture, this design itself, by saying that we have to aim for the highest possible gain. We have to aim for the highest possible gain. To be more precise. All right. So I think we are running out of time. But let me see if I can tell you something about the feedback amplifiers also. But that may confuse you. So I don't really want to mess up your concepts. So probably in the next lecture in the beginning, I will talk about the feedback amplifiers. So is the complete design of single stage common emitter amplifier clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can design your own amplifiers now. Okay, of course they will be all open loop and will practically be useless, but still then you have to start the design with open loop amplifier and then use a feedback loop to stabilize the gain. We'll see the concept we'll see in the next lecture, but for the time being, just look at the number of steps that we have used for the design of the single stage amplifier. And we have also verified that our paper design does really work in simulation. Okay? Any doubts, any questions?
No, sir.
So we have completed the design of common emitter voltage amplifier today. We have seen the selection of components. Of course, these components are, again, as I said, they are the calculated values. They are not the ones which are available as standard values. You have to convert them into standard values and again work out, analyze the circuit. But then it's fine. At least you know in a position to. So just try to do one thing in multisim. So simulate the circuit that we have designed. Okay, that will be a good task for all of you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay then. I think we'll stop here today.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.